Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Kuehl. I am the chairman of the call committee process. I'm taking time here tonight to come to you and to bring you up to speed with where we're at, where we've been, and how we've come to this point. In case you didn't know, about early June, 9 of us came together and started this process of looking at calling a minister to Bethlehem. There was a lot of time and consideration in getting to that point. As a lot of you guys also know, that Pastor Peter spent a lot of time asking questions. What do we need as a congregation? Where do we want to go? Where have we been? Who's here today? Lots of things came into this process. So, where are we at? Like I said, in early June, we came together. We spent time discussing the needs of the congregation. We spent time looking at what we need to do. How can we best complement the talents of the ministers we have here? And how can we bring that together in a cohesive piece to make sure that Bethlehem is best served? Our challenge was to bring a lead pastor to Bethlehem. That was first and foremost. And we didn't take that piece lightly. We spent an enormous amount of time looking nationally for candidates that can come in, interview, and ultimately try to fill that spot. Again, using the summary that Pastor Peter gave to us after the interview process with the Bethlehem congregational folks and friends, we used all those pieces together, and we wrapped it all in. So, ultimately, we looked at 4 candidates that came to us highly recommended, candidates that had wonderful and do have wonderful skill sets. We interviewed 4 candidates. We spent an enormous amount of time discerning over who those people were, what strengths they have, how can they fit into our mission, and ultimately try to make a decision from that list of candidates. We interviewed 2 on Monday, August 6th. We spent nearly 4 hours via Zoom looking at those candidates, asking those candidates questions, and discussing them. Once those candidates were done, we spent about another hour that evening talking about them, their strengths, where we felt they fit in. We then interviewed another candidate on that Wednesday evening, and the next one on Thursday evening. When we finished the last interview, we spent again another hour talking about these candidates. How do we see them fit? Strengths, areas of growth. Ultimately, what we decided to do was to take the weekend and pray on this decision. We then met again the following Tuesday. That meeting took another hour and a half. So as you can see, we spent a lot of time talking about and making sure that we feel we've chosen the right person. We didn't take this piece lightly. Recognize that we're in a unique situation. We're in a COVID world. We had to do these interviews over Zoom. We didn't get the opportunity to be in the same room, get to see body language, get to feed off of them and them feed off of us. So the interview process was different. We also, we needed to make sure that we did right by our congregation. We did right by Pastor Chad. We did right by the staff. Normally, this process has a rostered minister as part of the call team. In case you might not have been aware of it, Pastor Chad was one of the candidates that we were interviewing. So because he was a candidate for interview, we couldn't have him on the interview process. So it was extremely unique and actually very difficult, one that I took a lot of time stressing over because, again, I want to make sure we as a committee make sure that we did right by the congregation. So we spent a lot of time visiting with Pastor Peter as well as Pastor Cook, who was our synod liaison with this process. Spent a lot of time talking about the ins and the outs and making sure that we're recognizing the staff has needs, the congregation has needs, the ministers have needs in this piece. Ultimately, after all of that, all of those considerations, we as a call committee came together and we have made a choice, our candidate of choice, that we are recommending to the council. This is a unique situation. Normally this process tonight wouldn't happen until after a congregational vote has happened. But because we're in a COVID world, because things are different, tonight I'm here representing the call committee, and our recommendation as minister of choice to the council is somebody that you maybe have met before, somebody that you've probably seen speak inside of this building before. And yes, that person is Pastor Chad Peterson. We're really, really excited to offer him as our lead minister in this process. We're excited to bring him in to our congregation. So where are we at? What does this mean? So the offer has been made. Pastor Chad is praying on this. He's discerning on this. He's visiting with staff. He's visiting with members of the council to ultimately determine if he feels that God is calling him to be our lead minister. As we go through this process, it's important to know that time is important. Time to think, time to pray, time to discern, time to ask questions and answer questions. I'm available if people would like to reach out to me and ask questions. I'll be happy to speak on behalf of the call committee, but also recognize that this is only one step in the process. Having Pastor Chad as our pastor of choice doesn't mean we're done. We need a team. You all know that we need a team to make this congregation go. And so while we're going through this piece, the council will meet. The council will ultimately call a congregational vote, and that will happen sometime probably in the next few weeks. I don't have an exact time frame for you on that. But we're excited that we're making steps down the road. There will be more to come, more information to you to the congregation as we continue on. But our process, our steps as a call committee are not done. We need to bring that other person in. So we will continue to evaluate candidates. We will continue to do interviews. And so we have a complete team. Again, we ask for your prayers. We ask for your consideration and helping us to make sure that we do the right thing for our congregation. We ask that we have guidance and prayer and support. I know there are questions with this, and there should be questions. Again, if you feel so compelled, I would be happy to answer to the best of my abilities. Also recognize that there's some things that we can't speak about yet because the process isn't complete. But know we're working very hard. Know that we will do the things that we were called to do, and we will spend ultimately the right amount of time and energy and discernment that's necessary for making sure that Bethlehem is served in this process. I thank you for your prayers. I thank you for your time. I know there will be questions, but for now, this is where we're at as a call process. We started back in June. We're not done. We're in it for the long haul. So again, thank you very much. Have a great evening, and I look forward to future conversations.